Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast.
We're all set up here down this creek bottom. Bean Buck's been in here a bunch of times, so good chance to see it on him.
Meh. Smoked him. I think he just crashed, bro. Absolute money, dude. It's 76 degrees out. We just set up 80 yards from a buck and killed him at 18 yards.
Here we are. We're set up on this creek that's been absolute fire for the last 8 days. We know a shooter went in here to bed this morning.
Matt. Smoked his ass tonight. Get it? That was at 8, dude. That's at 8.
Bucked out October 28th. Homie's up for the rest of November. But absolute incredible season. Both kills on hanging hunts, right on the beds, and just making it happen. Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast, coming in your ear holes with episode 7 of the Rutcation podcast. Getting the people that made this possible. Going to get into the show. Let's start off with Exodus Outdoor Gear. If you guys are in the market for a new mobile cam to get in the game, get some MRI, most recent information, they offer the Render and the Render bundles. One thing that I want to mention about the Render and Exodus, they use the ScoutTech app, which is a good app, organizes all your pictures. But one thing I absolutely love about them is their data rates. So you could have 5 cameras through them, and you pick one amount of data, and that's what you use, and every one of those cameras pulls off that data. So if you have one camera that took 50 pictures and one camera that took 500 pictures, you're not going to have to buy extra pictures on one camera. It's just going to use all the cameras are on one data plan, like a cell phone plan. It's all one plan, and you could pick your plan, and then if you go over, it just says, hey, there's going to be charges, and this is what it's over. And it is the cheapest option in the market if you're going to run multiple mobile cell cams. So that's one thing about the Render that a lot of people don't know. The data plan is pretty incredible and will save you money in the long haul. And you're getting a 5-year no BS warranty with that cam, so it's a win-win all the way around. All right, well, let's get into today's hunt. Like everybody's saying on Instagram, Facebook, it is hot and it is slow. This morning, I drove halfway to where I thought I was going to hunt and decided, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I don't really like the wind. I didn't know what the wind was going to do in the bottom when I got there. So I decided I'm going to go in on the public grass piece that I talked about going in midday and spotting stalking on. So I go in there, get set up. On the way in, I bump one doe away, and then I get set up, and I hear some grunting and some chasing in the grass off in this big like cut. And I decide, it's a little ways away, so there's next ridge up. It's just breaking where you can, see probably 45, 50 yards now without a flashlight. So I decide to bump up 35, 40 yards and get on the second point on this cut. And the cut is on the cover art of the podcast, if you're wondering what I'm looking at. It's a big water cut ditch and holds water that's in this grassy CRP area. And I go there and I set for maybe 10 minutes, and then I look over to my right where I just was. Here comes a doe. She's probably 15, 20 yards from where I was just setting in. Behind her is probably a mid-50s, 10, chocolate racked, heavy tined buck chasing her pretty hard. And she bounds off and then hits a ravine cut and goes up. So, I mean, I moved. If I would have set for 15 more minutes, I'd have had a shot at that buck. That buck did stop at 65 in the bottom, and I was full draw on him at 40 when he came through there. But if I would have been at that other ridge, he'd have came past at 15 and then probably stopped at 35. So just a mess up of wanting to get closer to that buck that was grunting. It could have been the same buck and doe that was grunting at night that was going back through there. More than likely it was. So I sat there, made the decision to move and messed up on that deer. So that just, it's just bad circumstances. But, I'm pretty excited, pretty jacked to have an opportunity. I went in on a place that's over 600 acres of grass and CRP and set in a water pinch. And I had, I was full draw on 100 mid-50s buck that I didn't know was there on a doe. On the way to that place, I actually did see a buck and a doe, a mature deer chasing a doe out in the middle of a field at night. So there is some chasing going on, but when this heat kicks in, man, they're just held down. But pretty good hunt, pretty exciting hunt. Sat there, like I said, I got soaking wet back to the truck. Anyways, going on, I came back home. I decided that I was going to dry my clothes, so I went ahead, washed and dried my clothes, and planned on going to the urban piece and get as tight as I could to that bedding and downwind side with this wind that we're having. We're having a lot of south, 72 degrees and south wind. So went in there real quiet, had to stand on my back, got to where I wanted to go, pushed it a little bit further, maybe that extra 15 yards closer, trying to really get tight, taking my time. And I climbed the tree and was checking the wind, and the wind was just swirling. I standed on my fourth step without hanging the stand and dropping milkweed, and it was just swirling around and around. Every 30 seconds it would blow back the other way, and then it'd blow back this way. So I decided to take all my stuff down, pack it all back up, and head back out. So I headed back out. It's probably a quarter mile back to my truck, put everything in my truck, got a Diet Sunkiss, cracked that, put some Ted Nugent stranglehold on, and drove about 60 to the next hunting spot, which luckily wasn't too far away. When I got there, I was trying to make a decision on what exactly I wanted to do. The wind was going to switch when the rain front came in. The rain was just supposed to barely miss us, but it was going to switch out of the northeast for like the last hour. So I had to find somewhere that I could hunt that would be good with the south and then good switching to a northeast, which is extremely challenging. So I opted to go for a pinch. And this pinch, we've had multiple giant bucks in that pinch over the years, on and off, on cam, actually visually seeing them during shotguns, seeing them during hunting season. And I decided to set there. And it was super hot, and I was kind of complaining about it being hot, which is funny. And the Lord decided that He wasn't going to make me hot anymore. It started pouring about 5, and it rained all the way too dark. But it poured for a good 25 minutes. Had to put all the camera gear away, and I got absolutely soaked again. But when that rain come, that northwest wind switched, the temperature dropped probably 15 degrees. Then it just went to a mist, and it was a kill night. The last 25 minutes, I stood in the stand with my bow leaned up against a tree just because it felt like at any moment, the way this stand sets up, it's in a hedge tree, and it's real weird. I got one stick that's like, you actually like climb up, and then you walk on the tree a little bit, and then one stick's kind of angled at like a 45, and the next one's straight up like a 90, and the next one, then you're in the stand. But I got it cut to the pinch point through the hedge thicket, so they can't see at all. And then I have a clover chicory plot there that I planted, but we didn't get enough rain, so it's very, very, very small. And no deer are using it. I don't know if I need to do a soil test and see if the pH isn't right, and that's why it's not growing. And I know if it's not palatable because the pH is wrong, then the deer aren't going to eat it anyway. So that's something I need to check on, but there's no deer using that plot throughout the whole entire year. But I was sitting there, and it was getting real close to dark, and I was like, man, it's that I got to see something. And behind me, I could hear a buck coughing, and I looked over there, and it was the same 3-year-old that I passed back in October. Got a little kicker off his too, good browse. He's probably a 120-inch buck. He's 35 yards. end up working a little bit closer, but of course gave him the pass. It's not what I'm looking for, but did see a deer, and Boonertown, the piece that I was hunting tonight, it's really, really weird piece. If you looked on it at a map, you'd be like, man, that's a good piece. That looks good. I got food on there. I've had a bean plot every single year the past 3 years. It does nothing, probably a half acre of beans. It does nothing. There's probably 80 acres of standing corn. There's no deer that live on there. Very few deer that actually live on there. So I was happy to just see that buck in general. So I did see that buck. The game plan for tomorrow, it looks like, hey, Rainer, bring me my phone, will you? The game plan for tomorrow is it's going to be, I'm going to check the weather again just to make sure, but it's going to be extremely, extremely windy and heavy, heavy rain in the morning. We're talking steady, like 25-mile-an-hour wind, gusting to 40, lightning, thunderstorms. My wife and my mother-in-law want to go buy some flowers for the gravestones for Christmas, so I'm going to let them do that in the morning. The wind and rain is supposed to stop tomorrow. Let's look here exactly what time for my area. Yeah, it's supposed to rain all the way to 1, but then after 1, it's going to be, so tonight it was, at dark it was 68, and tomorrow at 1 it's going to be 47, and it's going to get all the way down to 43 tomorrow at last light. So definitely going to get out there and hit this cold front. This wind and rain is going to push that front in, so right after that front is going to be very good. So tomorrow morning I'm going to take off. I'm going to hang out with the kids, stay up late with them tonight, hang out, and then I'm going to do a little bit of work. I might tighten some nuts on my bolts on my mobile setup and dry my clothes again, wash and dry them again because I got absolutely soaked again. I got to dry my backpack this time because it got drenched. Charge some camera batteries and upload this podcast, and then go out tomorrow. My wife said she'd be back about 1:30, so head out right then, go get set up for the evening. It's still going to be 25, 29 mile per hour winds there at 1, but then at shooting light it's supposed to die down to 17. So still be pretty windy out there, but that cold front, it's going to feel a lot colder than 44 with that 17 mile an hour wind. So these deer haven't been going to ag on my cams, or last night I could actually see the cornfields. So I believe I'll be on that cornfield somewhere because I think that's the spot to be. They're going to be, wanting to get some calories in them. They just went through this windstorm that they didn't feed in the morning. They're not going to feed tonight because the storm's here, and that's going to, cut a lot of their feeding times that they normally have. They're not going to be out there feeding at 30, 40 mile an hour winds, thunderstorms. They're going to be bedded down. So I think they're going to be pretty hungry tomorrow and get to that food source early and hope a doe pulls a buck out to it. So that's the plan for tomorrow. Take the morning off and hunt the evening. I don't want to get wet again anyways, and with that 30 mile an hour wind. But it looks like Sunday we got good weather, and then Monday we got some good weather. It's actually going to be 36 Monday morning. Pretty excited about that, but it's northeast, which I don't know why we haven't had any west, but that would be the first north. Sunday will be the first north in the evening that we've had in I don't know how long. So I'm looking forward to those temps, and then it looks like it's going to warm up just a little bit there, but not going to be 70s plus. Like today, I think the low was like 64. So you can still kill them. You can still try to get it done, but it's tough out there when you got that kind of weather. But it looks like it's going to be, lows in the 40s, and then getting down to the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, that's when it's going to be a light switch. Those 5 days right there are going to be some really good days to be in the woods. But these pretty much the all next week. I mean, it's going to get warm on Tuesday there, but pretty much from tomorrow evening all the way into Monday evening when I go back to work Tuesday morning, I'm going to have good weather. I'm going to be doing all day sits. trying to get in a pinch and make something happen for you guys. So, all right, well, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I'm going to get someone on tomorrow. I might actually record a bonus episode tomorrow. I got a couple buddies that are wanting to get on, and I've been doing the series and they haven't been able to get on, so I might record an episode tomorrow morning and get that knocked out, or I might save it for after the series. But I got some guys who want to come on and talk, and I need to get started knocking down the list. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully your hunts are getting a little bit better. Like I said, the cold weather is coming, and it's going to get really, really good out there, and bucks are going to be chasing does and all the stuff that you want to see. So we just got to grind through one more day here, and then tomorrow evening should be the light switch event that bucks start dying. So I'm excited for that, excited for this week of good weather, and decided to make something happen. I'm always trying to do the right thing, try to leave a legacy. I love you. Appreciate you guys. And Whitetail Legacy is out.